with our keynote speaker, but I think we will wait for him for a few more minutes.
Discussion for continuation of the discussion with what Prof was talking about, this eagle and jellyfish. But you see, in this 21st century contemporary world, people just look at the contemporary issues of Yani, people just look at the, what is happening right now in our society. For example, problems, difficulties, right? And some people say that I have no money, I have no education, I have no money to further my education, and so on, right? Some of us will say that, okay, I don't have house, or I don't have facilities to go to school, so we don't have enough money. So that's what everyone is thinking about this, particularly Muslim society. Muslim society, including us, we just concentrate on what is happening right now in our society. And also, the Muslim society, they also have no so much interest in what is happening in the other societies. For example, if you look at the Western society or Middle East country society, or in other societies, there are different type of developments are going on. But we just only remain within our own scope of thought. Okay, fine, then we don't need to think about what is going to happen in America or Europe, or okay, this crisis or war, what is happening within Russia, and also these problems are there. So in fact, this all led our society backward and left behind. So in fact, as the advanced society, we need to look at what others are thinking around. For example, other societies are thinking that what is happening in our society. For example, today, the growth of the Muslim population is one of the headache for other societies. And they thought if our population grow, then Muslim will, capture their community, their society, or their country, something like this. But what Muslim think about? Muslim never thought that we are inferior, we are a small community, right? That's it. But we have never thought that how are we going to advance our society, correct? And how are we going to promote our youth? We never thought about it. So that is the difference between the Western or advanced countries and our countries. So that's also make us a difference between the way of thinking. So that's make us different from others. So what I'm trying to tell you is, when Prof. Rama was given the idea about how should we be like an eagle and how to work hard, or to be like an eagle, so it needs sort of a developed thought and idea in our mind. So then you can be exiled from others, like an individual level. Like an individual level, you can look into it. And in the initial days, you are nothing, just a normal people like others. But then there are some role model before you. They may be guiding you that, okay, you should be sort of an advanced person or developed person, or someone who is an excel or excellent person. So then there are some spirits grow in you and you work hard, and one day you are different from others. For example, when you reach to, okay, like a secondary level, then you can see the difference between you and others. If you are an advanced person, if you want to be like an eagle, then you see that because of the spirit which is leading you to a way for a success, then sort of inspiration come into your mind and you become different from others. Let's say when you reach to your 10th standard matriculation study, right? Then you see your qualification. Because of your inspiration, you become different from others. And see your exam result, see the position in your class. You may always be standing, in the best level. For example, you always 1, 2, 3, something like that. It shows that from the beginning, a student, when he score first, second, third in the class, it means that guy has a particular excellent order in him. He is different from others, because sometimes it's not necessarily your effort, but also your sort of intelligence or intuition, which is given by God. This is what the topic Prof. Rama was given. This is, he said, "Khairukum man ta'allama al-Quran wa 'allam." The best among you are those who are learning Quran, means the person who are educated. When you are educated, you make others educated. This is why when we were a student in our school, so we look at our teachers. When we look at our teachers, oh, we saw them, mashallah. How come, teacher, you are very excellent. You teach us in a way that we never thought. Like he was teaching us mathematics or English or something like this. We admire and looking at them. How come, teachers, you got, how these methods you know? So we try to learn, we try to imitate. This is the way you are different from others. You are different from others. So then what happened? It means that you have the idea that you are thinking differently from others. You got a point, right? You are thinking differently from others. That's the reason you become excellent in your class. You stood first, second, third. Then you reach to matriculation. Then also you stood first. You got the 5 distinction or 6 distinction or whatever. You go to the university. Okay, there are thousands of students out there. Then you are also selected over there because of your inspiration. You know that you should be somebody like Eagle. You don't keep yourself silent and also at the background. You try your best to be advanced. Over there in the advanced level of the study, you show your good color and you pass your exam with the flying colors. How excellent you are. This is the way after your graduation also. You don't keep yourself silent. You wanted to grow. You wanted to go farther. So if that is the case, then what happened? Alhamdulillah, after the graduation also, you don't keep yourself silent. I should continue to go for my master or my PhD. After you completed your master and PhD, or in that level of studies also, you score the highest. Why? This is what, the inspiration you receive from the very beginning of your life. Maybe in your kindergarten level or in your, from the primary level. This is what you are different from there. One of my friend told me, he is now very famous scholars now. So what he told me is when he was in the primary or the secondary level, he wanted to keep himself all the time smart. He doesn't want any dirt on his clothes. any scratches on his book. Sometimes we go and some of his friends go and tease him, write something on his book, scratches on his book. So he was annoyed and he was very sad. Okay, why they come and make dirty on my pages? So he spent time to rub it out, clean it up. And then he said that I cannot bear the flaw and also the mistake in my study, in my living, in my stay. Even at home, I am intolerant to see the things untidy at home. What is it? I am intolerant to see things at home untidy. So I cannot write a single sentence when my desk is messed up. Very interesting point. You just imagine that. But he said, I cannot write anything if my desk is messed up. So before he writes, what he did, he tried to clean up his table. He tried to, clean all the dust and everything. Even when he used his book, make sure that the book is so neat and tidy, clean and so on. This is how he's talking about the 30 to 40 years ago when he was a young man. But this is the way I keep telling you when he passed his undergraduate, master, and PhD, and so on and so on. So this is the way when he completed his PhD also. Then he again became a very, very, famous scholar. He was asked by the people to come and give the talks, give his ideas, and so on and so on. So this is why it's all depend on how you live your life and how you study your life, way of study, and also the way of thinking is very important. That's why I refer back to from the individual, then to the society. Now let's say we are here in our country, a small community like a Muslim society. So as a Muslim society, what we should be doing is that instead of thinking our olden days theory, okay, or our old, in a way of old theoretical thinking pattern, we need to change it. We need to change it in this contemporary 21st century. Our thinking order should be according to the era of the science and technology. Okay, the idea which is not popular, or the idea which is no more useful for this century, we need to drop those ideas. We need to bring it up a new idea which can enhance our spiritual, physical, and moral the qualities by which we can come up with the new ideas. In that case, there are ideas which is coming up in the the Western the theories. So they say that we should also make sure we need to learn about this. How are we going to, think about this? So if that is the case, what I would like to tell you is there are people who are thinking about the future of a new society. You need to use the different tactics. So these three tactics are now, they say that it is a black elephants, so the method takushire. Next is the black swans, so the method takushire. Not to black jellyfish, pure. Every senate tongune, we need to look how are we going to, develop our society So this idea we call in the scientific studies post-normal science theory superior core. We call it a post-normal science theory superior to core. So post-normal science theory is normal science, in this present state. You are looking at things from a scientific perspective. Scientific perspective means that you are looking everything in a very exact practical manner. The meaning of science. The meaning of science is that you do any paradigm which should be observable, which should be practical, which should be experimental. That's we call the science. Okay, I repeat again. People may ask you, what is the scientific method? Science means observable, experimental, practical. If it is not observable, or if it is not practical, or if it is not experimental, this cannot be scientific way of doing research. But this has already been old now. The time of the scientific research is now over. Now, what is doing in the West is post-normal scientific methods are being utilized. In this post-normal science, method, what are they doing is they look at those impossible matters. They took it seriously and they did research for it. And then they work out for any remedy for this possible manner. In that case, you can say it is a sort of future studies. What is going to do? What we haven't seen yet, but we have to create something which can be useful for your future. For example, 50 years ago, we don't have this smartphone or Android or Apple or Samsung telephones. We never thought that in a telephone we can use everything in one in everything. The dictionary is here. You can use as your mirror, and you can video, you can take the picture, you can write the thing, you can do so many things in this computer. 50 years ago, no one thought that this is going to be created. But people, they imagined and they thought, in the future, we are going to create such a smartphone, having all the facilities which I have just said. And today it happens. Don't get shocked. This is actual, which is happening before us. So same thing, lah. Now look at your society, Muslim society. What Muslims are doing? How many Muslim scholars are there in your society? A handful of people who have the money. They have the business, they have the shop, they have the construction work, and they have several Muslim organizations or Muslim madrasa. That's it. What else you have it? But if you look at other society, what is in their hand? The country power is in their hand. All the banking system, educational system, all important sector, all important key of the sectors are in their hand. The power is in their hand. What are we doing? We are just sitting every day, and then we keep telling us, okay, 5 times prayers, Allah, 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 reading the Quran, it is enough. Then we die, we go to cover and then finish. Okay, we like it, we do it. We have done that one. Our forefathers also have done all this. But in this contemporary period, what the speaker before me, Prof. Rahma, she talked about the importance of education and also importance of Muslim life. Okay, Muslim life is that we are not just only told to study the Quran and Sunnah. Not only that, we are also asked to learn the knowledge of the dunya and akhirah. Okay? If that is the case, you must understand that one. Okay, what are we going to do? For example, if you look at one of these Quranic ayah, for example, Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana. So, if that is the case, if you look at in this Quranic ayah, and also this is the dua of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana. Correct. Yani you need to ask, okay, success and benefit for fit dunya mean for this dunya, and wal akhirah mean for the akhirah. You need to look into that. So that tell us, that inspire us, that we need to also do something good for our dunya as well as akhirah. For the akhirah, mashallah, very good. You pray or you read the Quran, you deal with the people nicely, you have a good moral, ethical values, okay, you do a good business or whatever. But for the dunya, it is not enough to live prosperously and successfully in this world without having the knowledge and experience in this contemporary period of the world. Therefore, we need to learn knowledges like important to make our life easy and happy. Therefore, we must be somebody who knows important science and technology of this world. If we don't have that, we remain backward. And we will all, the people who are backward, who have no knowledge, who have no value, they will always be pressurized. They will always be discriminated. So you must understand that one. Therefore, work hard and be like an eagle, what was said earlier. Then in that case, you cannot just remain idle. You cannot just remain backward. You need to go advance. You need to study. You need to study every type of technology and also the professional. And the skill, which is very much important. Therefore, what we were discussing earlier is how are we going to advance the level of the Muslims' educational level in our society. That is the most important task. We have to give the priority. We have to give the priority to advance our people. So to make our people advances, it's not necessary and enough to provide the properties or money or food. They will all consume it. And the next day, they will again need for it. So the best contribution to your society is provide the knowledge. So make sure that in your society, at least create 1,000 scholars in your society. 1,000 scholars. This is my address, my speech which I have given 5 years ago in Myanmar Muslim Society of Malaysia. I will give this video. You can see this, my video, the future of the Muslim of Myanmar. I have told about this. We must have at least 1,000 scholars. They are expert in mathematics or physics or chemistry or engineering, architecture, or education, or economic, social, politics, whatever they. If we have at least 100 in each field of the technology, you will see the differences, because we are not going to go against any government. Whoever govern the country, we, our society and the people are somebody who are educated, who are skilled person. They can be all the time ready to serve our society. Our society not necessarily Muslim. Our society, maybe there are Buddhists, there are Hindu, there are Christian, there are Muslim. We don't care and we don't take it, irrespective of race and religion. But we fair to everyone. And we are humble to serve our nation and our country. Therefore, we have to make sure that if you are father, mother, if you are people, if you are student, if you are teacher, if you are lecturer, if you are scholar, make sure that everyone must have this project of producing at least 1,000 scholars. So in that case, you don't just sit in your basket anymore. You need to jump out from your basket and come up with these new ideas of looking the future. What are you going to do there? In that case, now I'm going to tell you about the post-normal science theory, which is going to do the research, because our society, our scholars, our teachers, lecturers should look at our future, what we would like to mold it, what we would like to prepare for it. So in that case, we look at, let's say, to create 1,000 scholars.